extract the. So I'm using this financial sample only. So click on financial sample, click on load. Now the data is loaded into Power BI flat. So on top of this data, today we will see it as a like a date functions. In DAX point of view, we will see it as a date and time functions too. Last class we have seen it as a aggregation functions. Today we will see it as a date and time functions. Okay, so now the first function here is calendar. Okay, the first function here it is calendar. Before going to calendar, we can see it as a date. Okay, date function we can use to making it as a data. To making it as a some static date, we can use it as a date function. To making it as a date, we can go with as a date function. So it means like whatever the date we want to give static values like a 2022, year 2022, month, some year, day, that static value to passing point of view, we can go with as a this date function. So now let's say like I'm going with here and I'm creating it as a new measure. So now let's say I'm creating it as a automatically date. It's a single date only, which we can go with as a new measure. So click on new measure. So date equal to date function only. So the date function here, year, month, date. To specify any date, specific date. Let's say I'm thinking to keep 1991, some blah blah month, some blah blah year. 11th month, 11th year. So it's as usual, it take that information. It's storing it as a financial measure point of view. So now let's say we are using it as a card visual to showing that measure. Why it is blank? It is not stored anything. Okay. Date of like some static data. As I said, 1991, 11, 11. Okay, clear? So whatever the date we will give it, that it will take and it will give. That's the output with the date time format. With the date time format. Next function is today. 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 Now and today. Next function is today. What is the function today? Like it is helpful to fetch it as to taking it as a current data. Current data. Current date to fetching purpose, we can use the function is today. So now like we will see it. Next function, next measure I am creating, new measure. I am not changing the measure name. Okay, today. Today, if we click on this, measure 2, like we will display, we will take it as a new card. Under that, we will display it as a measure. Today date is 16th March. 16th March. Okay. So by default, time will take it as 12 a.m. By default, it will take it as a 12 a.m. Next function is now. 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 Now it will take it as a date and time. Date and time. Date and current time. Okay. So now function, it will take it as a date and time, current time. So simply we are keeping it as now. Card visual, and then we are displaying it as a now. So here time is right now 8:14 p.m. So with the seconds, it is taking it as a 8 p.m. Next function here, we can say it as UTC now and UTC today. What is UTC now and what is UTC today? So the time, it will show in UTC format. The time and date, it will show on UTC format. Okay. So like our time zone is IST. Our time zone is IST. Time zone is IST, CST, UTC. Like that, it is having the different time zones. So based on that UTC time zone you want, you can go with as a UTC now and UTC today. Like hardly for central time zone and us is like it is 4.5 hours. I thought it is having the difference. Just for your clarification, I'm keeping it as a UTC now. I'm creating one more measure. One more measure that I'm making it as a UTC now. See now the UTC time is 2:46. Our time is 8:15. It's hardly 5.5 hours. We are in differentiate mode for UTC and IST. Okay, so it's a few of the projects point of view. They are thinking to ask, you can show me that information with EST format, sorry, UTC format. So that's the reason we can go with as a UTC. Now we will back to our actual form, like a important functions basis, calendar function. Okay, keep hitting calendar. Calendar. Calendar function will allow calendar function will allow two parameters. One is start date and end date. Next point. Based on this start date and end date, it will generate it will generate sequence of dates it will generate sequence of dates in between them. In between them. Next point. For these, the written type it has table. For this, the written type it has table. Okay. So in real time, this we can use to prepare it as a date dimension table. Calendar function and calendar auto function. This we can use to prepare it as a date dimension table. So now we will see some of the operations and date dimension table point of view. So basically how the date dimension table will prepare is based on the start date and end date, we can use it as a continuation of dates. So here also like a based on that only we are making it. So now how we can make it is like we need to go with as a like a this data tab or home tab anywhere. It's a new table option. It is there. New table option it is there. For that return type is table. So we need to select it as a new table. So however, I'm mentioning the name here is dim data. Date dimension table only. So we are using it as a calendar date, calendar function, dim date under calendar function. So calendar function point of view, what we need to mention start date and end date. Start date and end date point of view, it will generate it as a sequence of dates. So now we need to generate, we need to give it as a data, some static date we need to give. So some dates manually, if we want to provide, again, we need to use it as a date function, date function. So let's say I'm thinking to start from 2001 to till today I'm thinking to fetch that information. So till today I'm thinking to fetch that information. Today date, if you want to use date of that information also, or else you can use it as a today function, or else you can use it as a today function. Okay, so that is the function we need to use it. Based on that, like if we observe from that date to today date, it will generate it as sequence of dates to us. Sure. Okay, so that based on that, it will generate it as sequence dates to us. Continuously, it will generate it as a sequence dates to us. So in these, the real time point of view, how we can write is like we won't write like this static dates. We won't write like this static dates. Like from this date to this date, I want. Like sometimes the real time point of view, the data more than older dates, it may have sometimes the work data, it is like a it's they have started the business, it has a recent one. So we cannot mention the dates as statics point of view. We can go with as a like minimum data, like whatever the date it is having on our like a tables basis that we need to gather. It's a financial date, minimum min of financial date, comma, whatever the maximum date it is there, that max of financial data. So in between this, it will generate it as sequence of dates. Okay, clear. In between this, it will generate it as a sequence of dates. So this it will helpful to perform it as level like a our entire data model point of view to performing the operation.
నా ఈ సినారియో వచ్చేసి ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని ఇయర్స్ ఆఫ్ డేటా మెన్షన్ చేసినప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాము.
Hmm. So his question is why we need to use it as this date dimension table. Based on his question, I understand why we need to prepare this date dimension table, why we need to go with date dimension table. If we go with such answer basis, he will get it as a automatically clarity about his question. Then we will discuss again, still he is having the doubt. So like this date dimension table, first of all, like in our business, let's say you can take it as any one business, like there may be some public holidays, there may be some like band, there may be some blah blah stories, based on some stories, some particular day the business it is not happen. Assume some XYZ day it is not happen the business. So in such cases, that date it won't having on our data point of view. Our data point of view. Whenever the dates, continuous dates, it is not available on our date table. Whenever the continuous dates not available on date dimension table, then few of the time intelligent functions it won't work. Once again, I'm repeating. Once again, I'm repeating. So, like if we go with our real-time use cases basis, assume I'm using it as a Flipkart application or Amazon application. Due to COVID ban, assume due to COVID ban, like there is 2 months in span of 2 to 3 months of time, in span 2 months to 3 months of time, there is no like sales for Flipkart Amazon point of view. Right. If I take like the last 10 years of Flipkart business data, if there is no like a dates, continuous dates in our date dimension table in Power BI point of view, it won't allow to form it as this time intelligent functions. To work with all the time intelligent functions, then we need to display it as, like a, we need to go with as a time, like a date dimension table. Point number one. Point number two. Okay, let's say for example, in the span of that 2 to 3 months of time, there is no transactions. For that transaction, you need to display it as like this is COVID time, or else this is like non-working time. Like that, you need to display it as some static information. If you haven't displayed that static information, the user cannot able to understand anything. The user cannot able to understand anything. To showing that continuation of dates for user also, we need, first of all, we need that continuation of dates. For that continuation of dates purpose, we can prepare it as a date dimension table. To making all the time intelligent functions, and then to showing purpose, to showing the continuation of dates to user, we will make it as a this date dimension table. Is it clear, Balaji, your doubt?
But when we create DAX function, it is usually basic. And like, however, grade is always the dimension.
No, it's not like that. So, like you need to think about the return value. The return value is single value. Then you need to prefer it as a measure. In first class, whenever I'm starting the DAX, I said it has a differences. Whenever the return type, it has a single value or scalar value, then we can go with as a measure. Whenever we want to perform to row by row operations, then we can go with as a column. Whenever we want to output it as a table, then we can go with as a table. So now here the output is table, then we are going with as a table. So for aggregation functions, the end of the day, it will return the value is single value. So then we can go with like a measures. Okay, let's see. Up to this, everyone is clear? Any question? All right. So next one here, from these data, like in real time point of view, we can create it as a data dimension table like this, with the minimum date and maximum date we will take it. In maybe here in financial table, it is having single date column. In real time point of view, in your data model basis, it is having the multiple date columns. You need to check from the multiple date columns. From all that multiple date columns, you need to take it as a minimum like a date and a maximum date. Clear? Based on that only you need to prepare it as a date dimension table. In few of the projects, this date dimension table, like the database team will create in backend, that they will give to us. In few of the projects, ourselves we need to create it as a date dimension table. Okay, so if we're coming to our case point of view, like I'm creating myself this date dimension table. Okay, so now here, now from this date, we need to separate it as a month. From this date, we need to separate it as a year, month, like when we want to show that year wise, month wise sales, such kind of information. So now let's see here, I'm making it as a new column. Why? Because of for all the rows, we need to separate it as a year. So such a reason I'm creating it as a new column. So these like here we can use the function is year equal to year of like a date column. What is this date column? Dim data, dim underscore data. Okay, so now if we simply click on that, like it will generate it as a year for all the columns. Okay, let's say I want it as a month. So for this, like again, click on new column. Directly we have the function is month equal to month of dim date. Okay, it is generating month number. So let's see, now I want it as a month name. Like usually we won't show it as month number wise sales. We will show that information is month name wise sales. So assume the financial data point of view, there is no month name column. We need to display it as a month name wise sales. So we will check whether the month name function is there or not. So here you can observe, is it having the month name function? Is it having the month name function? No, we don't have the month name function. In such cases, we need to use the function like format. It is a basically string function that we need to use. Let's see, we can by using format function, how we will make it as month name, that we will see. Month underscore name equal to format. Okay, format. Okay, format function we need to use. So format, like which value we need to use is date column, and that I want the format is like a month name. Month name, whenever we want that, we need to keep it as a 4 M's. 4 M's. Okay. So now whenever we keep it as a 4 M's, then it will get written it as a month name. So if you observe this, January, October, November, December, March, April, like it's giving it as a full month names. 4 M's. If you give here it as a 3 M's, then also it will work. Then it will display it as a SEP. OCT, October, DEC, NOV, like that it will display. Okay, here if you make it as a 2 M's, then also it will work, but that it will take it as a month number 0908, like that it will display it as a month number. Okay, usually we will mention either 3 M's or we can use 4 M's. Clear? Next function we can use it as a quarter. Next function we can use it as a quarter. Okay, so here we have the function is quarter. So next, creating new column, quarter, quarter. So quarter is the function which we can use to fetching it as a quarter for basically for year it is having the 4 quarters, right? So that quarters to making purpose we can use it as a quarter. Every 3 months we will consider it as a 1 quarter. Every 3 months we will consider it as a 1 quarter. So now here it is having September, October, November, September, October, September, October, November point of view, it is changing the quarters. Let's see how it will change. Like a January, February, March is quarter 1. December, November, October is the quarter 4. Like every 3 months, we will consider it as a 1 quarter. So for user, we cannot able to see 1, 2, 3, 4. For user, we need to show it as Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, we need to add prefix that it has Q. For prefix, we need to add it as a Q. So double quotes, we need to make it as Q. Okay, so here what is the concatenation operator? And symbol. And symbol is the concatenation operator. Okay, that we have written in initial classes, starting of the DAX class. So Q1, Q3, Q4. So now, like for user, we will show this is the information only. So based on this, whatever the quarter he wants that sales and all that he will select. Okay, now I want year along with quarter. Year, iPhone, quarter I need. Okay, then you need to combine these two statements, year and quarter. Year and quarter, these two things we need. Okay, these two things combination I need. So now what we will do, we will create it as a new column. Year hyphen, year hyphen or year underscore quarter. I'm not mentioning full name, just I'm understanding purpose, QEA I'm mentioning. So that either you can write directly this dim underscore year of column, that column, however, it is there. And like we can use to combine purpose to separating this year and quarter, we are using it as a hyphen. Again, under symbol, we can use it as a this. What is the already column QUA? Dim QUA. Dim QUA. Got it clear? Any doubt? Let's say next function here we have the function is day. Let's see. I'm clicking on day column. Day column. Day equal to directly the function is day. Day of dim data. Like from that, it will return it as a number, day number. Day number. Let's say I want it as a month-year. Next scenario is month-year I need. Let's see. Like a month-year I need. Either you can use direct functions or you can use directly expressions also. Columns, direct columns also, or else you can use direct thing. Let's see here. Previously, I have used it as a, for this year quarter, I have used it as a direct columns. Now I'm writing complete function. So format of month-year I want. Format of like a dim date, comma, like a we need like a whenever we are using month-year, we will use it as a 3Ms only. Like directly here, we can use it. Directly here also we can use it. Month-year, two wise I am keeping. So like this, I'm closing. Directly like that also we can write. Or else if you want like a this we can keep it one approach and year of dim data. Like this also we can write it. Anything is fine. So else, like as I said, previous scenario just now, as I said, like here also month-year, four wise, two wise, whatever the wise you want, like that you can make it. Clear? Any question? Any doubt up to this? Month-year also we can mention. Next one is like in this point of view, like the simple functions is like which we cannot use uh, like hours, months, minutes, seconds, and all. You people by seeing itself, you will get to know that answer. So I no need to explain, even though we won't use that in the real time point of view. Much in the real time point of view. Like here, it is having EO month and EDate function. So next function is EDate. EDate. So now here it is having EDate of start date comma month. We will see how it will behave and all. So last month I want it as the same date. Then we can use this kind of function. Let's say select new column. It is still working on it. E date. First we discussed it as a E date. Okay, E date of what we need to fetch data. Dim date. Start date is dim date. Like how many number of months? Like we can keep it as a -1. First you can see it as a -1. What it will give the output. You can observe last month the same date it is returning. Last month same data. If we keep here it as a 1 plus 1. Next month same data. Let's see here if you keep it as a -2. 2 months back same date. Okay. Next function is we can say that EO month. Next function is EO month. Name itself it is the end of month. End of month. We will see, click on new column. EO month of start date. What is start date to us? Like a dim date. Is that start date? Like EO month. Like if you mention 0, current month, end of the date, it will show to us. EO month. Current month, end of the date, it will display to us. If you mention -1, last month ending date, it will display to us. If you mention +1, next month ending date, it will display to us. And date, whatever the date, from that date, next month ending date, current month ending date, previous month ending date point of view, to fetching that information, we can use it as a this EO month function. Is it clear? Any question up to now? All right. So next function is like here, we can say it as these are the nothing functions. We can use it as a date diff. Date diff. Okay, date diff. So date diff here we can use it as to finding the difference between two dates. We can use it as a date diff function. To finding the difference between two dates, like we can use it as a date diff function. So now let's say date diff equal to date diff of like a here you need to find the difference like a dim underscore date to like I'm taking it as today data. Generally I'm taking it as today date. So like if you have another date column that you can mention or else e date also here it is there. That same e date also if you want you can make it. Dim e date it is there, right? So that you can make it. Dim e data. So between that, how the interval we want specified interval, like we want year, day, automatically the interval here we will get. Years, like a day, week, month, like what are the things it is. Like I want it as a weeks. How many weeks the difference it is there. What it is. So it is -6. So we need to take it as a like a first start date, large date, and then we need to take it as this kind of stuff. So now we can see check with weeks point of view also, but instead of seeing it as a -1, -6, C +6, it's a week less than 8, less than things it is there. It is clear. I thought it is taking wrong value, right? Day 62, weeks 9. It is correct. So between these two dates, you can find out 9th of Feb, sorry, 9th 1st, September 1st to like which date? Like a 7th month first date. It is 62 days. It is having the different between 62 days. Like the week differences is 9 weeks. Clear? Any questions? All right. Everyone is clear. Up to this, everyone is clear. Next function is Calendarauto. Next function is Calendarauto. Up to this, any questions? All right. Okay. Next function is we can go with as a Calendarauto. This Calendarauto function is also same as calendar function. This is also we can use it as to generating the like a continuation of dates. But here the advantage of this calendar auto function is here the advantage of calendar auto function is keep hitting calendar auto. In interview point of view, they will ask the question, what is the difference between calendar and calendar auto? Keep hitting calendar auto. So listen, calendar auto. See, listen simply. The calendar auto of physical year month, a physical year end of month, physical year end of month. So the physical year end of month, we are not keeping any kind of thing. So in DAX point of view, any in DAX, any syntax point of view, which is in square brackets. Here it is in square brackets, right? Which is in square bracket, that is optional. That is optional. Any syntax in DAX basis, which is in square bracket, that is optional. Optional. So now that is optional statement for me. So now I'm keeping it as a like calendar. Based whenever I'm making it as a calendar auto, like automatically it is taking the dates like a some sequence of dates. Name itself, it is the calendar auto. Automatically it will read the dates. Okay. Keep heading calendar auto. When we will use the calendar auto function, when we will use the calendar auto function, it will read a minimum date and maximum date minimum date and maximum date from our data model. It will read a minimum date and maximum date from our data model. From minimum date, for minimum date, starting of the year, for minimum date, starting of the year, for maximum date, ending of the year, for maximum date, ending of the year, for maximum date, ending of the year. In between them, it will generate it as sequence of dates. For maximum date, end of the year, in between them, it will generate sequence of dates. Listen, minimum date, starting of the year, maximum data, ending of the year. In between them, automatically it will generate it as a sequence of dates. So in our application point of view, like here, if we observe from the dim table basis, dim date table basis, our minimum date is September 9. September 9, 2021. Sorry, 2013. So for the starting of the year is January 1st, January 1st, 2013. So if you observe calendar auto, for the starting of the date is January 1st, 2013. For this, like if you observe dim date, the end of the year is end of the thing is 12/1st, 2014. 12/1st, 2014. It will take 12/31st, 2014. 12/31st, 2014. Maximum date end of the year, minimum date starting of the year. Okay, from our application, automatically it will read minimum date and end date. From our application, automatically it will read minimum date and end date. Based on that minimum date and maximum date, it will generate it as this kind of stuff. Minimum date of the starting year, maximum date of the ending year. Between them, it will generate it as a continuation of dates. Clear? So, sir, this is very easy to implement, but like why I need to use calendar function? So in our project, sir, it's a very easy to use it as a calendar function. Then why I need to go with the calendar auto function? Sorry, why I need to go with calendar function? In real time point of view, most of the scenarios we will use it as a calendar function. We won't use it as a calendar auto function. Calendar auto we will use rarely. Why we need to go such kind of scenario? So if we go with calendar auto function, few of the external days it is there. Assume our business it is have we are at today. Like till that year end, it will show that information. So if we show that year end dates, like a few of the missing months, it is showing it as a 0. So then the calculations will be wrong. Whenever we are performing the average kind of thing, so then the calculations will be wrong. So whenever we want to show that leave kind of information for offices, leaves kind of information, then I need my future dates also. Then we can use the calendar auto function. Actually, in real time, we will use calendar function only. Calendar auto, we won't use it. Here, it's one more point here we need to highlight. Like here, it is having physical year, physical year. So here, if you observe the syntax point of view, like in bracket, they mention it as a physical year end of month. Physical year end of month. So now you can observe, like if you can observe by yourself. I am not explaining the answer. Here assume I'm keeping it as a 2. Here assume I'm keeping it as a 2. So what it is starting? Here I'm keeping it as a 2. Second month end date it will take up. Second month end date means third month starting March 1st. The ending would be second month end date. Second month end date. Here if I keep third, the ending would be March 31st. Starting would be April 1st. That is clear.
Okay,
Sorry.
starting of the first month.
So if we keep here it as next fourth month is end. Like next month starting day is fifth month starting. So it will keep it as a April 1st, May 1st. Ending would be April end. That is clear? That is the step. So usually here we cannot mention any kind of thing. It means it will take it as a 12. Default, it will take it as a 12. 12th means 12th month ending. Next month is starting.
Till 2015.
Till 2000, like it's if we keep here, it as the ninth month. Ninth month it will start. 10th month it will start. 2012. Here you can observe. 2012 it is starting. 2015 ninth month. That is,
How is it? How it is taking 2015?
so what is our minimum date? Usually our minimum date is what? As per dim table, September 1st.
Whole range is taking.
Whole range point of view. Minimum date and end date. Minimum date of the starting year, maximum date of the ending year.
We consider entire visualization range.
Entire data model range. Clear? Up to this, you can do the practice today. We have 2 to 3 functions here. Else we can go with weekday, week num also. This is just nothing functions. So here it is having weekday. Okay. So simple, very simple functions. Very simple functions. So now let's say new column. First, we can go with week number. Week num, date, dim date. Okay. The return type, I'm not mentioning any kind of thing. Week number. In a year, which week it is? Usually we have the 52 weeks per year. 52 weeks per year. So based on that, which week it is, that week number. Okay. Weekday. Next function is weekday. Weekday of dim data. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. So here I want to see that day name, weekday name, Then again you need to use it as a format function only. Again you need to use it as a format function only. Format of like a dim date, comma, like a d. Sunday. One, it is starting from Sunday. So let's say here in this previous function basis, weekday point of view, here the return type, I'm making it as a 2. Observe it. 2 I'm making.
0, 0, 2.
So week from where it is starting? Monday to it is starting. It is not starting from Sunday. If you mention here it as a 3, the week it will start from Tuesday.
Oh. You change the date only.
Day it will increase. So usually here we won't mention any kind of things. Whenever we haven't mentioned any kind of thing, it will start from
Sunday as a
Sunday as a 1, Saturday as a 7, which is like a in general pattern. Clear? So this you need to do the practice today. Okay, I hope your mind get hanged. Okay, you can do the practice today. We will see the remaining thing on tomorrow class.
The third, fourth column here.
Here we will stop the recording and I will explain it.